Hello and welcome back, everybody. It's Complicated Relationships Reddit Stories. Hope you guys are safe and healthy. Now let's see what the story is about today. It had been over 3 years since I last spoke a word to my ex-wife. She reached out to me last week and asked to speak with me. We had a 1-hour phone call, and that conversation brought this sad, miserable, and unhealthy relationship to its ultimate end. Please take a moment and listen to my story.
I found this forum a few weeks ago and have been reading avidly. It has made me sad reading the outpourings of so many broken hearts. I'm sorry to say it has also brought some comfort, knowing I'm not alone in my situation. I haven't posted before because what comfort or advice can I offer when my own marriage failed so badly? But after my conversation with my ex last week, I realized there are so many similarities in all our stories. We met in Tennessee. I was 22, she was 27. She was in her last year of nursing school, and I was in my last year of military service. We were both working at a local pizza place for extra money. We hit it off and became friends, and after a very memorable party, we became much more. She pursued me, in truth, but I was attracted to her and more than happy to reciprocate. When my military time ended, I took her out to a nice dinner and proposed. I was so completely in love with her by that time. Our first year of marriage was great. I got along great with her family, and my family loved her. We did almost everything together. Later in the year, 2 things started to change. I was working full-time and going to school at night working on a degree in civil engineering. I tried to make the time we had together special, romantic. But nothing changed the fact that there was a lot less of it. I could feel her pulling away and losing interest in me. So I dropped out of school. I made a judgment that my marriage was more important, and I told myself I could always go back later. Things didn't really improve.
Well guys, OP had learned something about her. She's like a kid who gets tired of her toys quickly. She becomes bored with it and moves on to a new toy.
I tried to keep her engaged and keep things interesting. Gifts, vacations, different kinds of romantic bonding. It was like bailing out a sinking ship. She offered little in the way of help or encouragement. It's exhausting to try and save a relationship when you are doing it alone. Then, the cheating behavior began. She checked off the boxes: protective of her phone and laptop, more frequent absences from the home, a complete withdrawal from intimacy. Affection from her went to 0, and even hugs and kisses from me were coldly received. I've read this so many times in other posts here. It's like cheaters don't want to cheat on their AP with their spouse. I knew it was going on, and I was highly motivated to catch her. We lived in an at-fault state, but she covered her tracks well. I couldn't prove it. I think she noticed I was checking out of the marriage. All my attempts at initiating affection, or even talking to her for that matter, stopped. After that, she tearfully confessed to an EA with a coworker. She swore it was never physical. She made a lot of promises and apologies. I had never heard the term trickle truth before coming here, but I suspect I was served up a hot bowl of it. She wanted to work on us, wanted counseling. I chose to believe her. My heart and my intellect were not on speaking terms. We went to marriage counseling for a few weeks. That seemed to make her uncomfortable because the counselor asked some very probing questions about the emotional affair. I think she suspected, as I did, there was more to it. She discontinued after 4 sessions, but we seemed to be doing better. It was almost like I had my old wife back. I was very happy and decided to put all my suspicions behind me. This lasted about 6 months until the cycle began to repeat itself. Once again, she checked all the boxes like before. I confronted her about it twice. She said it was stress on her part, or immaturity, a favorite thing for her to throw in my face over the whole relationship because of our age gap. Intimacy stopped as she lost all interest in it. And then, it happened.
If you are enjoying the story so far, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.
I came home and she was home early. She was sitting on her bed crying. I sat with her and asked her, almost begged her, to please talk to me. She told me she was pregnant. For a moment, I was overjoyed. Then my brain began to engage. I suddenly remembered how long it had been since we had intimacy. I could see it in her face. I asked her how far along. 8 weeks. It had been over 4 months since we had last been intimate. I got up and left the room. She ran after me. Looking back and comparing the conversation that followed against the accounts of people's experiences, I'm amazed how WS all say the same things. It was just that one time. It didn't mean anything. I only ever loved you. Of all the lies they tell, that last one stings the most. I told her I was leaving the house and would be back in 1 hour. Then I would listen to what she had to say. I was shaking, angry, and in all honesty, it probably would not have ended well for either of us if I stayed. I drove to an empty parking lot and cried my heart out. I think I mean that literally because something inside me broke during that hour. When I went home, I was cold, emotionless. I didn't need to act like a gray stone. I had become one in truth. She insisted we could get past this. She saw how happy I was when she first told me. She commented on how we had wanted to start a family. She threw the baby's innocence in my face and how he or she would need a father. I sat and stared at her in complete and emotionless silence. Finally, she looked at me and asked me to please say something. She is asking for reconciliation, but nearly every word she is telling me is a lie. I told her if she wants me to even think about it, she needed to start by telling me the truth. The story I was told after that is it was the same AP all along. Even from the prior year, it was always and only physical. She never loved him, she loved me. He is not interested in having any kind of a relationship with her other than physical. He is pressuring her to terminate it. She doesn't want to. She wanted a family and wanted it with me. I told her, our marriage is over. It's been over for 1.5 years, but I was just now finding out about it. I told her to pack whatever she needed for 3 days and to leave the house, and then we can discuss what comes next. She refused and kept trying to talk to me. Ordinarily, her tears would have broken my resolve, but I felt nothing. I went into the guest bedroom and locked the door.
The next day, OP hired a lawyer. The paternity of the child was more than enough proof for an at-fault divorce.
I had no desire to wait that long, and we discussed uncontested and mediation. When I got home, she actually tried to initiate. I was shocked and disgusted. I told her that would never happen again. We agreed on an outline for divorce. The biggest asset was our house. The majority of our debt was her student loan. I gave up my ownership interest in the home so she could sell it. She was going to keep the baby, and I wanted her to have that money. I wanted nothing but to walk away free. In the end, I kept nothing other than my Jeep, my military sea bag full of clothes, and a few tools, firearms, and military mementos. Mostly things that were mine before we married. Everything in that house, everything she had touched, was just tainted to me. I wanted nothing from this marriage but to leave it in the past. The divorce finalized 13 months later. I saw her twice during the mediation. We barely spoke. She was very pregnant then. I thought that would be hard to see, but I felt nothing for her. No love, no hate, nothing. She was a stranger to me. I moved to Florida and took a job as an underpaid but also underworked civil servant. I have a very simple life now. I bought and renovated a small house on the Gulf Coast. I bought a boat and go fishing almost every weekend. I have very few friendships and have dated very little. I have trust issues now. I really don't enjoy the company of other people. I'm 27 now and physically very fit, and some girls find me attractive. But the idea of an intimate relationship, trusting them to that level, I don't think I can do it. Not for a long time, anyway. I am the opposite of the man I used to be in almost every way. All my love now is reserved for a happy black Labrador retriever named Stormy. She goes almost everywhere with me. I still get upset when something triggers me to remember my ex and all that happened. I still sometimes feel a tremendous and overpowering sense of loss. I know I have lost nothing because I really had nothing. The beauty of my job is I mostly work alone and in the outdoors, and I can often take my dog to work with me. If I haven't found happiness in divorced life, at least I found peace.
Now, here's what happened about 2 years later.
Last week, she reached out to me. She called me. I didn't know she got my contact info. It couldn't have been too hard. I wasn't exactly hiding. We spoke, and it was amicable at first, and she made it sound as though she just wanted to see how I'm doing and to catch up. But the hidden purpose of the call was to feel me out about some kind of reconnection. She gave birth to a healthy baby girl 2 years prior. Paternity was never in question because of the timing. The AP wasn't present for the birth and has had little interaction with his daughter. The life of a single mother is hard, and although she was getting support from the AP, apparently she had to take him to court for it, she was lonely and unhappy. I told her I was sorry to hear she was unhappy, but it was not my problem. I told her she had broken my heart and it was still broken today. I told her in as many words I did not love her, could not love anyone, and wanted nothing to do with her. I said to her that she made all the choices for all of us, for her, for me, and for her daughter. She left me with but one choice, and that was to walk away from her. I asked her not to contact me again. The final similarity between all of our stories on this sub is this: a selfish person made a selfish choice and damaged the lives of 3 people, one of whom had not even been born yet. If there is one thing I wish I could make them understand before they make the selfish choices, that they are hurting everyone around them, and possibly everyone around their AP. But if they are already selfish enough to cheat, it's likely they won't care.
Well, OP, glad you saw the light and got out of there. But I'm really sorry to hear how it emotionally scarred you. My best advice is don't let this experience rob you of a future with a happy and healthy relationship. Yes, there are bad apples out there, but there are also some good ones as well. You are older and wiser now. It is possible for you to find true love and happiness like everyone else. Good luck to you, OP. End of the story. Please like, comment and share the video if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you will be notified when we upload the next video. Take care.